Alright there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It's the third show of the day. I just figured since there was no chat for the last show, since I fucked it up, I'd bring you guys all back in for one more show here, where I'll answer anything you guys want in the fucking chat below. And we'll talk about some different stuff. I wanted to talk about the appearance on Reiketa Law tomorrow, and what's going on, and what the plan is for that, and how I'm going to approach that. Now, as far as I see it, the reality of it is that I do not think that lolicon is something that is defensible, and I do not think that cuties is something that is defensible. And so I plan on articulating that case against lolicon and against cuties on both a moral and a legal basis. I do not believe that there is a free speech argument with regards to lolicon. And I really, really don't believe that the Founding Fathers, when they crafted the First Amendment, believed that people should have the right to masturbate to images of children. I don't think that makes sense. And so I'm just going to come on the show, and I'm just going to try and stick to the facts about lolicon and about pedophilia and about the people who've been advocating for it recently. And as long as Reiketa just wants to talk about that, and he does not defend lolicon, he does not defend pedophilia, and he just, he fucking disavows all this shit, we're not going to have a fucking problem. I, for one, don't really want to talk about New Project 2 with him, because it's obvious that I'm right. He wants to drag me into the weeds and all this fucking bullshit. Look, the reality of it is I'm coming in to be polite and to be nice. I am not going to be dropping F slurs and N slurs and this and that. I want to have a smooth fucking show with him and his audience. I want him to give a platform and a voice to the anti-pedophilia position, because way too many people are pro-pedophilia. And I'll tell you, man, I got some fucking greasy shit in my back pocket too. If he wants to fucking bring in surprise guests and be an asshole and do shit like this, I'm just not going to let him get away with slippery, slimy, snaky lawyer tactics. It's just not happening. So if he wants to be a cunt, he can be a cunt. But I want to have a, polite, respectful debate with him on the issue of pedophilia. And I want to speak to him one-on-one. I don't want to speak to anybody else there. I don't want to talk to Drexel or whoever the fuck. I just want it to be me and Reiketa, a free-flowing discussion on the lolicon thing, on the pedophilia thing. He might try and say it should be legal. I'll argue with him on that. But if he tries to say that it's moral and it's righteous to jerk off to lolicon and all this fucking shit, and to watch cuties and the people that made it are great people and all this fucking shit, I am just going to fucking nail him to the cross. So hopefully everything fucking goes smoothly and he's not an asshole and he's not a cunt. But, he's a fucking pretty slimy lawyer, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what fucking happens. Now, are you prepared for the pill pull? It's guaranteed. Well, I'm prepared. I dealt with him last time. We'll fucking see. I do not want a My Little Pony plush. I'm not Riley. For those of you who aren't aware, Riley took pictures with like a Rainbow Dash plushie, Dick's producer there. Do you think he will bring Dax on to try and jump you? I pray to God he does. I want to get my hands on Dax so badly so I can hold him to account for his sick fucking positions on lolicon. This was supposed to be a debate between him and myself. He has just decided to forfeit. Dax has run away. He's gone running. And I'm just trying to tell him it's going to be okay. I'm going to make sweet love to you like I make love to my bitch. This sort of fucking thing. But, he's gone running and he's not going to show up. Ask Reiketa why he thinks e-fights are stupid, except when he's fighting with people he doesn't like. Well, I'll be sure to let him know. I mean, the reality of it is they're not stupid for him because they make him a ton of fucking money. And that's why he's bringing me on. Because the last time he brought me on, he made a fuckload of money. Okay? And that's why he's bringing me on again, is to try and make even more money. But bottom line with this grifter is that Ethan Ralph and Dax Herrera are bad for business. And I'm fucking good for business. I'm good for business. So, If he wants to be a douchebag, he can, but I'm way better for his business than those fucking guys will ever be. And I'm a principled man. You promised us no more nice guy. You promised us scorched earth. We'll have some fucking faith there, buddy. Do you think Nick is going to snake you and bring someone like Gator, Zoom, and or Dax? I've told him if he brings Zoom in, I'm out. If he brings Zoom on again, he's a fucking idiot. So that's that. If he brings Gator, oh, it's like Christmas if he brings Gator. If he brings Dax, it's like fucking New Year's. It's just wonderful. I don't really know what he's going to do. Is he going to throw Josh under the bus and say New Project 2 was Josh's fault? Is that what he's going to do? He's going to try and say that New Project 2 was taken down by My Evil and Vordrak and all this fucking shit. Just kiss my ass, man. It's taken down for money laundering. If you really want to get into it, we'll get into it. But I'm telling you, you don't want to get into it. Because I don't know what argument you're going to bring. Oh, you said this and this. The site's down. It's dead. He would bring Drexel on. Honestly, I don't want Drexel. I don't want any other guests. I just want him and me. Let's go. Let's do this. That's what people want to see. They don't want to see Drexel. They don't want to see some fucking clown show with fucking 3 or 4 Spurgs or whatever. Who will have a better season, Cam Newton or Tom Brady? I thought it would be Tom Brady until I saw fucking Cam's performance this week. He was fucking really phenomenal and nearly had that game won for New England. They just got denied on the 1-yard line against the Seahawks, and the Seahawks are a tough fucking team. So New England looks like they're fucking legit this year, to be honest. What games did you get for the Switch? Want to swipe friend codes? I don't know. I don't really do any of the online stuff. I haven't bought like the Nintendo Premium or whatever it's called. So far I have Odyssey. I have like Luigi's Mansion 3. I have Donkey Kong. I have Zelda Breath of the Wild. I have Mario Kart 8. What else do I have? And I have Smash Brothers Ultimate. Will we have a Golden Gun Award this year? Absolutely. We'd like to do it in person again. We might do it in Cuba, actually. But the problem is, with all this COVID restrictions and fucking bullshit, I can't get Crowder Godwinson out here to Canada or to Cuba because of all these bullshit COVID regulations. So I don't know if it's going to happen. We'll see. We'll see. Do you ever think you could possibly move on from Ralph? Well, I'll move on from Ralph when he's dead. I also do my own thing. Like, not every video is about him. So, once again, it's just another demoralization tactic. Again, if you haven't watched any of my programming, just shut the fuck up. If you don't watch this show, you haven't watched it, maybe you've watched it for 2 weeks, just shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. And you're just embarrassing yourself to the people who actually have been watching for a year or 6 months and they understand how this channel works. He might try to go for you on grifting and deplatforming, Gators feeding him intel. He doesn't have an argument. There's no argument to make. I hope he brings Ralph on. Keep Drexel in the woodshed. He's a smart bottom dweller. Let's see, what do we got here? This is a sports channel. No, it is not. And once again, like, if you don't like me talking about sports the odd time, you don't have to. There's plenty of other shit. Plenty of other shit. Do we really need to know how this channel works? It's kayfabe. I don't know, buddy. You figure it out there. You've been here a while. Legit here for sermons, and you hate Ralph. Okay. Maybe we'll have to get a sermon out there. Maybe after the Reiketa stuff. I'm kind of focused on the Reiketa appearance tomorrow. Doing all sorts of legal research there, guys. I don't know. Do you ever have a point in your life like 3 years ago or any point where you watched the kill stream? Yeah, I started watching the kill stream in the fall of 2018. I thought it actually wasn't a bad show at the time. I bought into this idea that Ralph was doing like a gonzo journalism, was trying to be this Hunter S. Thompson type. Just as you slowly started listening, the cracks started to form in the facade, I realized he was full of shit. Then he fucked me over and tried to ruin my life and contacted my church and all this shit. So then I went after him. It is what it is. But I did watch his show for maybe about 3 months, where I was a fan of the program. That's true. You seem to have chilled out these past few streams. Well, I don't know. I've just been kind of fucking relaxing the last little while. I've just been, staying very chill, fucking not really taking this shit as seriously as I was a couple fucking weeks back or whatever the fuck. Any solid movie recommendations / reviews? I checked out Society after you posted it. It was kind of cool. Well, I just recently watched Wolf Creek and Wolf Creek 2. And they're horror movies. If you like a slasher film or a horror movie, very excellent. The killer in it is called Mick Taylor, and he's this Australian Crocodile Dundee kind of backwoods kind of motherfucker, and he's just great. He has so much charisma, so much screen presence. The violence is depicted in a very realistic and very brutal way, and it's just fucking excellent. Both films. The second film is even better than the first movie. If you can only watch one of them, watch Wolf Creek 2, because you don't really need to see the first Wolf Creek to understand Wolf Creek 2, and I like that one better. If you don't like horror movies, what did I watch recently that was good? I don't know. Watch Hard to Be a God. Something like that. Let me see here. Yeah, Society does hold up really well. I've seen Dark City. The way I describe Dark City is you watch it once, but every other watch is just, it's kind of a jack-in-the-box of a movie. And after you've seen the jack-in-the-box pop out once, it's not really that great. Will you re-upload the Rise of Skywalker review? I would if I still had it. I don't know if anyone has it. And I don't think I have it. So the Dan era was like the first few seasons of a show that have a feeling of authenticity. Yeah, without Zidane, the show really went downhill. I honestly thought he was going to end the show after Zidane left, but he kept it going, and it's just been a disaster. Is Tropical Freeze as good as the original trilogy of Donkey Kong Country games? For me, it is. For me, it's actually better than the original trilogy of games, because I didn't grow up with the original trilogy of games. For me, the gameplay is more refined in Tropical Freeze than it is in the original trilogy. It's definitely better than Donkey Kong Country 3 and the first game. The second game, I don't know. I think it's better than all of them. I think in terms of the music, it's better. In terms of the graphical, it's better. And the gameplay is great. The level design is incredible. I think Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is one of the greatest games ever made. I think it's a work of art, actually, and a real masterpiece. But a lot of the musical tracks are borrowed and remastered from the original trilogy. And I played the original, and they're great games as well. I mean, it's just a question of what you grew up with, what you played first. I happened to play Tropical Freeze before I had played any of the original trilogy, and then I went back. So my opinion on it's going to be different than somebody who grew up with Donkey Kong Country. Do you dislike people who pretend to be something they're not or believe in something they don't really believe? Well, of course, everybody dislikes those type of people. What do we got here? Did they ever evolve past on-rails sections? There's a few of that stuff in Tropical Freeze, a few stages like that. But there's a lot of other... There's different stages, different types of that. Obaruso, we're not hiding from you, whatever the fuck. Finally got Jesse Lee Peterson on, and Ralph was too busy worrying about Warski versus Donkey. Yeah, Zidane. Will you ever collaborate with Coach Red Pill again? I would if the guy would fucking answer, but he doesn't want anything to do with us anymore. Me and Godwinson have always been friends. We were never not friends. Ebenezer, who? You watch hockey? Yes, I do. I used to watch it religiously as a kid. Today, I don't watch it near as much. 2 is definitely the best. I'll have to try Tropical Freeze. That's pretty much most people's opinion. Like, the consensus is 2 is the best. I generally agree with it, but I like Tropical Freeze better just because it's more accessible. I don't own an SNES, and it's just the graphical improvements are so massive. I know people like that sprite style, but I don't know. Where are these imaginary Nintendo questions? Nowhere near as hard as the originals. Yeah, it's true. It's not as hard as the originals, but it's still decently challenging. Especially you get to those fucking hidden levels, like the hidden world and the second map in Tropical Freeze. It's really tough. You even put Event Horizon in there too, and I like that one. Okay. Will you be bulking for the... I need to do a cut. I'm not bulking. You look like you were in a 90s indie band. I'll take that as a compliment. See, look at this shirt, okay? So people think I'm wearing a sweater, but look at this fucking shirt, okay? It's a dress shirt, yeah? It's got buttons and shit. But look at this. It's got a fucking hood. Like, this is the weirdest shit. I don't know. I got this as a fucking present from my mom there. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. You know CRP is mad at you because he said you and Adam couldn't get laid in a brothel. I don't think that's... I mean, Adam definitely can get laid. I also do get laid, despite what people might think. It is what it is. Though I don't advocate sex before marriage, but sometimes mistakes are made because we're fallible human beings, and sometimes the girl's really hot, okay? You got to get Mario 3D All-Stars. I'm probably going to get it. I'm debating on whether or not to buy it digitally and just fucking bite the bullet or wait to fucking get an actual cartridge copy. What's the most overrated band in your opinion? I'm not super into music, but like shit like Led Zeppelin I think is really overrated. I know that's a pretty basic fucking take, but like that shit's pretty overrated to me. They do have some good songs, but I think they're a little bit fucking overrated. Obviously most pop singers are really overrated. Like people think Taylor Swift is good, very overrated, shit like this. Get your Sims to buy it for you digitally. Look, if somebody wants to buy it for me, send me a code on Twitter. You want to buy it for me? You go ahead. I don't give a fuck. You know, you want to buy it for me? You're a fucking idiot. Godwinson had people buy it for him, and then he told them to get fucked. Oh, shit. We all don't have a surfer to help us fight off the succubi. That's true. Will you do an interview with Bellagio of the Central Happenings Network? Yeah, I would. I was in contact with him. I kind of got out of contact. I know you, Black Eagle, you were messaging me about Jim and other guys before. I'll do it. It's just a question of things lining up. I also know that Land of Grub and Glory want me on again. It was their 50th episode today. I was going to go on, but the Cameron Clark thing came up, and I did that instead. But I will be back on Land of Grub and Glory at some point as well. Did you get this fat after your knee injury? I did, because what was happening was I was working at the gym, selling gym memberships, and I fucking blew out my knee, and I was just really fucked up, and I gained a lot. I gained a lot of weight after that because I just kind of gave up because, fuck, like, I just couldn't walk. I couldn't walk. Like, shit was fucked. I was depressed. I lost my job because I couldn't sell gym memberships and fucking work out anymore. But I've also been fat before in my life. I've been fat, lost weight, you know. I'll lose weight again. It's just a question of me wanting to. And I've never been very much concerned about my physical appearance, but it's just quality of life things. Eventually, my body will break down from having this weight. My other knee will go, my back will go. So I do have to get rid of it. But I'm very comfortable as a fat guy. I really don't mind being fat. I really don't care if certain girls don't like it or people think I'm gross. I just don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna lie. Will you be going after Nick Fuentes? Well, I go after him all the time. Eventually, we're gonna fucking go after him again, but it's just right now I don't really give a fuck. Like the whole Catboy thing and shit like this. If people still take him seriously, it's their own fault. No one could gift it to you, even if they wanted to. Motherfuckers will send me $79.99 in the fucking PayPal then. Cunts. No more security deposit. PPP weight loss series 1. I've started it up kind of jokingly, but I haven't been serious about it. If I am serious about it, I will do it, and I'll fucking lose a lot of weight. I've lost before in a month like 40 pounds. Because if I do it, I do intermittent fasting and like heavy calorie restrictions to the point where it's kind of unhealthy, and I fucking slam caffeine and ephedrine stacks and all sorts of fucked up shit that was really bad for my body. And when I lost, I think I went from like 340 to 190. I ended up losing my gallbladder because I lost the weight in like 4 months, and it was very unsafe. So I don't know. If I'm going to commit to that again, I may have to do it in a more healthy fashion, or I might just die. I don't know. It is what it is. Is Cameron a downy? No, he's all right. People are saying he talked too slow. I think he was fine. I understand he doesn't talk as fast as I am. He's not quite the quick, slick talker there, but fuck off, yeah. I hate some of the Zepp worship, but as a pop band, they're genius. Well, yeah, of course they have some good songs. I just think, like, Stairway to Heaven is just so overplayed. And maybe I'm confusing overrated with overplayed. Thoughts on Microsoft buying Bethesda for $7.5 billion? I mean, that's a big deal for Microsoft, right? Microsoft has not been in the console wars for a long fucking time. They have not been competitive for a while. I've always been a Microsoft guy. I bought the 360. I bought the Xbox One. I had a PS4. I had a PS3. I've sold them both because I just didn't use them. I don't like the controller as well. I understand the PS4 was more powerful, smoother frame rates, higher resolution. Honestly, I don't even give a shit about that. But where Microsoft hasn't been competitive is on exclusive games. And what they have done now is with the Game Pass, they have made it all the exclusives $15 a month, plus like a library of probably a couple hundred other games, $15 a month. And now they bought Bethesda, and they can bring Skyrim, exclusive, Elder Scrolls 6, exclusive, Xbox One, Game Pass, day one, $15. That's what they should do. They should not sell their shit on Sony's console. They should cuck the Sony fans and make Bethesda next Fallout Xbox Game Pass exclusive. They're going to miss out on selling millions of copies and things like this, but that is the killer app. Exclusive Fallout, exclusive Skyrim, exclusive Doom, exclusive Wolfenstein. New IPs exclusive from these devs. And honestly, I think Microsoft should buy more devs. I think that this should just be the beginning of their spending spree. I think that they should buy more devs. If they don't, they are going to get outgunned and they're going to lose again. And Microsoft needs to decide, are they in or are they out on consoles? Are they going to go all in on Xbox, or are they just going to back out and go to PC and try and run the Windows Store and all that shit? I don't know. It seemed like they were moving towards exiting consoles, but now, with this investment into Bethesda and with other investments they've made into other studios, they're definitely somewhat legitimate. And they have a chance now. Well, I hope it doesn't even come to PC either. I hope PC people get fucked. They're so elitist. I don't want to fuck around with building a PC learning all the technical specs. Shit goes wrong, I have to fix it. I have to install shit. I have to fucking work on drivers. I don't want to deal with any of that shit. I just want to put a fucking game in and it plays. That's all I want. That's all I fucking want. I don't care about frame rates. I don't care about resolutions. I want to put a fucking game in the console and fucking play. And what pisses me off about Xbox and PlayStation now is that you fucking put the game in, you have to wait 45 minutes to fucking install the game. There's fucking 30 gigabyte patches, all this fucking shit day one. It's like, fuck you. I just want to play the game. I just want to put a cartridge in a fucking console and play a fucking game. That's all. Like, oh, don't be a boomer. You need to upgrade PC Master Race. It's easy. Nah, fuck you. Fuck you. I built my PC in 1 hour and learned so much. You should stop being lazy. You join the Master Race. No, I don't think so. I think I'll stay a fucking console plebeian. I'm going to stay Xbox for fucking life. I hope that Fallout does not come to PC. I hope all of you don't get to play New Vegas 2. That's what I hope. But it will come to PC. It will come to PC. Because Microsoft is all about cross-platform now. But that's what I'd love to have happen, is just the PC Master Race gets cucked out of Fallout New Vegas 2, gets cucked out of fucking the next Elder Scrolls. That's what I really hope. Because the salt and the tears, you know. Oh, I gotta spend money on an Xbox. Well, you know, fuck you. I'm not sure if Reiketa is trying to set PPP up or redeem himself. Maybe make some shekels, maybe both. Something about that nose makes me uneasy. Nobody fucking knows. I hope that he's trying to redeem himself a bit and get out from under these fuckers and make some money, but he's a fucking idiot. I think I find it was worse that Shannon was paid to be on the show. Yeah, I think it is worse that Shannon was paid, to be honest. And I don't think he actually is paid. We got Game Pass on PC. They're committed. I know, but I just would love to see that they just get fucked. Would you ever let a woman peg? No. Obese neckbeards don't have the patience to PC game. I feel like those are the only people who PC game are obese neckbeards. Look at this fucking neckbeard. Look how Chad-like it is. You've never experienced gaming at more than 30 FPS. Oh, fuck off. Most of the time, the software for the graphics card. Consoles are just PCs with a gimped OS at this point. Kind of, yeah. I wish consoles would differentiate themselves from PC more than they do. Play chess. I used to play chess. I used to do chess tournaments and stuff like this. I was alright. Just scrolling back up. Just use Temple OS. Yeah, Temple fucking OS. Let's see what people are saying now. 6th generation was the last good generation for consoles. I like the 6th generation. I grew up with it. You might be right, but there were some good games in the 7th gen, you know. Would you date a native? No, probably not. I mean, fuck. The situation would be as such as that there would be a huge financial incentive for me to do so, because I would no longer have to pay taxes. My kids would no longer have to pay taxes. It would be just incredible. But, you know, we could hunt year-round without passes. My kids would go to school for free. You know, no tuition. All this stuff. Yeah, they say Indians don't pay taxes. Yeah, they don't pay any tax, no tax, and free school, free medical care, free housing, free fucking everything. And it's just crazy. Thoughts on Dame Pesos posting Lolly on Twitter to own the pedos? He shouldn't have done that. but his heart was in the right place with it. And his video he put out on Dax was good recently. Um, he's doing it to preserve his grift, and he's not really genuine in his turning on these guys. But I will say that he's better than some of them, and at least he's come to reality somewhat. Me and Surfer sometimes play what's called four-way chess, where it's like four different armies. Will you bring up Juju to Nick? Yes, I will. Especially if he starts to get into new Project 2 stuff and he tries to drag me off topic, I will bring stuff like that up. Let's see what people are saying. Thoughts on Ear Juice posting barely censored lolly? He shouldn't be doing it. Don't show people that shit, but whatever. Dame used to be a center staple of the kill streams. Is this? I wish this was the real Dingo. Just Dingo, you're not white. Just shut the fuck up. Will we ever have a PPP beer hall push? Probably not. Probably not. The IRL meetups are pretty fucking gay, but... Was the Kickvic fundraiser a massive scam? I haven't really looked into it, but from what I understand, from the word on the street is, it was a scam. What's your favorite pro wrestling move? I like the spine buster. I like a really fucking excellent spine buster, like an Arn Anderson spine buster. I like power bomb, like the Batista bomb. I always thought was cool as a kid. I like the sleeper hold submission. I do. The sharpshooter I always liked as a kid. The crippler crossface as well. I always liked Benoit. Yeah, different. The Stone Cold Stunner, I've never really been a huge fan for the Stone Cold Stunner. The Stunner, I don't know. I always looked kind of fucking lame. Did I ever watch the old WWF in the 90s? Yeah, since I have the network now, I do go back and watch a lot of the older content as well. I like the figure four. Yeah, I always liked the figure four. Flair's figure four was great. I mean, again, if this was the real Dingo, once again, I am white. I'm far whiter than you are. I do have a job. And this isn't a stream about Ralph, so just shut the fuck up. Oh, your juice gone too far. I like Ultimate Warrior. Somebody asked about Warrior. I have like the Ultimate Warrior DVD sets and like every one that they've put out. I really loved Warrior's promos, his look. His work in the ring wasn't great, but it didn't have to be. What is your favorite WrestleMania match? At the time, the Ric Flair retirement match at WrestleMania 24 with Michaels I really liked. Because I was big into Flair and I was big into Michaels at that time. And I thought that was Flair's last match, and it was an emotional match for me. But in retrospect now, it wasn't his last match. I liked Taker, and Michaels, of course, was good. I don't know. It's a tough fucking question for me. Favorite non-WWE wrestling company? In the past, I, of course, liked TNA. And I thought they were the best competitor. Ring of Honor had some good years as well. But the last 10 years haven't been kind to Ring of Honor. Outside of those kind of bigger companies, I don't really like a whole lot of the indie feds. CZW I like, even though a lot of people don't like it. I do kind of enjoy deathmatch wrestling and stuff like CZW. That would probably be my favorite of the shitty fucking indies there. I don't have a favorite porn star. I've never really watched porn stars. I don't really have a favorite porn scenario either. So your opinion on Brian Cage? I like Brian Cage a lot. Super athletic, great look. Okay promo, needs to work on that. He has Taz though now. I would have liked to see him become the champion, but didn't happen. Do you watch UFC? Of course I watch UFC. I watch every fucking card. Me and Surfer gamble on every fucking card. We watch the Tuesday Night Contender Series. We thought it was on tonight. It's not on tonight. Surfer took the night off. And it's not on tonight. It's moved to November. Do I like Moxley as champ? No. I did like it at first because I wanted to see what Moxley could do. And he has had some good matches with Luke Harper. He had a good match. The match with Cage was decent. The match with MJF was pretty good. But he hasn't got me invested into that character. He just hasn't done enough for me to really think that he should be the champ. Like, he just hasn't done enough with the run. I want to make money from my art, but I feel like authenticity and money motive aren't aligned. I struggle a lot from this. What do you mean? No, the reality of it is chances are you're never going to make money from your art. If you want to make art, make art. If you happen to make some money doing it, people like it, great, but don't ever expect to make money, man, because chances are your art probably is shitty anyway, and even if it is good, it's probably not something people are going to pay for. Well, tell Ralph to stop watching wrestling then, you fucking idiot. Will you watch the Floyd versus Logan Paul match, and do you think it diminishes Floyd's legacy? I will watch it if it happens. I don't think it's going to happen. Apparently the contract was signed. I would love it if Logan Paul knocked out Floyd. It's not going to happen. But it would just be so amazing. Do I think it diminishes Floyd's legacy? No, because Floyd's legacy is about making as much money as possible. This totally fits in with his legacy. It doesn't diminish him any more than the McGregor fight would diminish him. In fact, it enhances his legacy and ensures that he will be remembered by a younger generation who watch Logan Paul and shit like this. It's smart business and easy work. Smart business and easy fucking work. For him. Dingo and Ralph re-equating the squeal like the pig moment. Yeah, it would be funny. Is Tyson still doing an exhibition? Yes, as far as I know, he's still doing an exhibition against Roy Jones Jr. Should be interesting. I'm not super excited because they're fucking old. A lot of people are really excited. I'm sure it'll still be a spectacle, but it's probably not going to be that great of a fight. Will Covington win his rematch against Usman? I'd like to say yes, but I mean, he's going to have to try the wrestling because the stand-up didn't work. Kamaru hit harder, and eventually he finished him. Colby did have a lot of volume, was really competitive in that fight, and I hope Colby can beat Kamaru, but it's tough. Like, that was a very competitive fight, and Kamaru just had him because Colby didn't have the power in his shots to finish. What's your favorite dinosaur? The Spinosaurus that's now been changed into a lake creature. I don't know. I was into dinosaurs as a kid. I fucking had all these books on dinosaurs and shit like this. I don't know. You go something simple like a T-Rex or a Stegosaurus or something like that. Something basic, something simple. What is the drama between you and P.O.? There isn't really any drama. He just grifted the mother's tears, and I think that's fucked up. And I hear that he's really fucking degenerate. Ceratosaurus. Will Los Angeles sweep the Nuggets? I see it going 5 games. I think the Nuggets, especially after that Game 2 performance, they will find a way to snag a game. LeBron never makes it easy on himself. They might even get 2 games. But this series is definitely going to be an LA victory. Are you rooting for Miami versus Lakers finals? Yeah, I guess. I think that'll probably be the most entertaining matchup. Miami will give, I think, LA the most trouble, but I think this is LeBron's ring to lose. And if he loses this ring, his legacy is going to be permanently tarnished. He needs this 4th ring. So, you think a boxing match or a baseball game is art? I agree with you. Dingo, what the fuck? Shut up, Dingo. Fuck off. Like, it's not even the real Dingo. It's just some fucking idiot coming in here. Who has done more for the white race, Jarbo or Dingo? Well, I don't know if Dingo has children. I think Jarbo has children that might be his own. I don't know. And even if they aren't, they're white and he's raising them, so he's done more. Did McGregor give some broad the no-no touch? Don't ever believe women. McGregor did nothing wrong. Come on. Is Conor McGregor going to have to rape women? Like, seriously. Motherfucker is jacked, charismatic as fuck, rich as fuck. He's also married. Like, I don't believe any of that shit. Is it the real Dingo? Like, does he have nothing better to do, really? Like, seriously, Dingo, you have nothing better to do than come here and chirp? Just shut the fuck up. You're Italian and you're not white. You're not white. You've done fucking nothing. You have contributed nothing to the struggle of the white race. Fucking zero. So shut the fuck up. You know, I was in Murdoch. You know that I was in Murdoch, buddy. They gave me the seal of approval. So why don't you fucking kiss my ring and fuck off? You mongrel. PPP, would you bet on the U.S. election? If so, who'd you put your money on? During the Trump election, I think I got 17-1 odds on Trump, and I laid $300. That went well. I then also, the odds narrowed, and I started to get more faith in Trump, and I put a little bit more on it, 4-1. So I think I made like $3 or $4 grand off Trump winning last time. This time the odds are a little fucky. You know, 2-1, shit like this, I'm not really a big fan of. Now, I'll tell you this, Arizona, I like the Arizona play at 2-1. I like Pennsylvania, I think I saw it 4-1. I think the play this time, if you're going to bet the election, is individual swing states, particularly Arizona and Texas. If you can get Arizona or Texas at even money or above, like if you can get that at plus money, you fucking snatch it up. Because, I mean, the reality is if the Republicans lose Arizona or Texas, there's no hope of them winning. You had a good Catboy Cammy video. You still have that? Yeah, I do have that. I don't really know what your fucking problem is. I don't understand why you're such a fucking hater, because I go after a guy who's clearly not a white nationalist, who's clearly grifting money out of the pockets of white nationalists, who has greasy sex tapes and degeneracy and all this fucking shit. I don't get why you defend him and you think I'm a bad fucking guy for pointing out the things that are wrong about this man who is exploiting white nationalists and exploiting a movement to line his own pockets. I don't get it, Dingo. It's the real Dingo. You can try and explain. I don't get it. Yeah, Dingo sent me money one time. He said he sent me money. I feel bad that he didn't get his debate or whatever. Or I didn't shout him out. I thought I did or whatever, but whatever. Well, Dingo lost 2 whole jobs. I just don't think losing 2 jobs helps the white race. And I think the reason you lost those jobs was because you didn't understand that you need to hide your power level sometimes, and that not every customer needs to hear about the JQ. If you're working in a fucking retail store and you're telling customers about how the Holocaust was a lie as you're bagging their groceries, you're probably going to get fired. And that doesn't help white people because everybody just thinks you're fucking insane, buddy. You pick your battles. You pick your battles. There's a guy you're drinking with and he's a cool dude. You might tell him some shit, point him in the right direction, and then maybe he'll become, your views. But, if you're just going around trumpeting everything to the fucking hilltops, what do you think's going to happen to you, you fucking idiot? You're going to say that that's a great contribution, losing your job. Fuck. Okay. Who is your favorite historical character? Jesus Christ. Hitler's a very interesting character. Napoleon's a very interesting character. Alexander the Great is a very interesting character. A lot of different amazing characters throughout history. I gave you some pretty basic ones there. But if you're drunk in a Subway shop telling people about the Jews, you're a surfer. I don't think that's a smart strategy, but it is what it is. How'd you meet Surfer? When we were at work. I brought him over for a poker tournament one time. Brought him downstairs, put on Moon Man. He was shocked and sickened, but eventually he figured it out. No. Have you ever drilled for oil? Absolutely not, and I never will. I don't find black women attractive. I don't know how people do. Kiss my ass, Dingo. No, I red-pilled him, yeah. And I baptized him into Christ, yeah. Before I came, the Surfer was an atheist, and just very confused. Believed in a lot of shit that didn't make sense. But since that time, I think he's become a lot more radical than I am. Can I beat Surfer in Street Fighter? We don't play Street Fighter. We usually play Mortal Kombat or Tekken. And in Mortal Kombat, I can beat him maybe 60% of the time. It's really competitive. It's back and forth. Like, I'll win one, he wins one in Mortal Kombat. In Tekken, he's a bit better, but that's because I've only played it a handful of times. So. Is the Godwinson audio a bit, or is he really that incompetent? Here's the thing, guys. Like, with the audio and shit like this, honestly, like, if you're watching this through headphones, you're making a mistake. Your audio experience probably isn't going to be great. Same with Godwinson. You probably should just fucking play it through your laptop speakers or whatever the fuck. That's what I would suggest. But no, the audio isn't a bit. It's just that we don't care enough to fucking put together the audio production. And today it may have just been too far, unfortunately. And the high production values is kind of the antithesis of what we go for. We intentionally want to have a low quality vibe. Yeah, people who don't believe in Christ. Believing in Christ to me is the most important thing. Having some basis in Christian morals really creates a good society. That's what I believe. I believe that if most people in society believe in Christian morals and are held to that standard and try their best, even though most people won't try their best, but if they're held to that standard, we'll have a better society. Can you and Godwinson buy better mics? Well, look here, man. Look here. Holy shit. Holy shit. Like, there's that microphone. Like, it's like a $300 microphone there or whatever. Holy shit. Shit's fucked. Look at all the paper towels in a pile. Look at all the paper towels in a pile. As I wipe the fucking piss off my fucking knee there. Do you ever eat Kraft dinner? And if you do, is it with hot dogs? What are the tissues for? Well, I'm in this room which doesn't have air conditioning. And a lot of the time I just fucking sweat. I'm pouring sweat, waterfall of sweat. And so those are the towels that I've wiped my face with to try and remove the sweat. Do I eat Kraft dinner with hot dogs? Not usually. Sometimes I will. And I don't eat it with ketchup ever. Okay? People who eat it with ketchup are fucked. People who eat it with hot dogs, that's probably the patrician way. But honestly, who has time to fucking cut up hot dogs and shit like this? Come on. Is gambling a sin? Yeah, realistically it is. It's something that I have a lot of fun with. I think as long as you're not stupid, and you don't endanger the welfare of yourself or your family, it's probably not sinful. But at the end of the day, it is trying to gain something for nothing and avoiding work, and it's something that I really ought to work on and not do, to be perfectly honest with you guys. And I don't really endorse it, but I do it. So I'm not going to lie to you and say I don't. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be Kraut on OBS anymore, boys. I don't know. I like Kraut, but whatever reason it is, OBS is always kind of fucked. Who is your main in Tekken? The dude with the fucking... The wrestler dude with, like, the cat head? Yeah. Oh, man. Have you actually read Heidegger, or were you just memeing? Yeah, I have read Heidegger's Being in Time. At least half of it. I stopped about halfway through. It's a very dense read. I don't know. I'll go back to it at some point, but again, it is a very dense read. I wouldn't recommend it for anybody who hasn't already read a lot of philosophy. And to be honest with you, I don't think enough of an appropriate grounding in a lot of the philosophy that he's talking about to have a strong opinion on what he's saying, or to be able to follow his train of thought. And that's just me being honest, okay? And I think most people who read Heidegger would have the same experience. That's just me being honest. Yeah. Saints bet was fucking terrible. I'm probably gonna quit gambling just off the fucking Saints bet. Fuck. They should have fucking came through on that point spread. I don't know what happened. It was like they're up 10-0. They're fucking rolling. The defense is getting stops. The run game is working, and then it just all fell apart. Is riding camels based in red pill? No, there will be no camels in the ethno state. What was your first red pill? 9/11 pizza. I don't know if it fucking say first red pills or whatever the fuck. My first red pill was Obama's presidency. I really believed in Obama when he got elected. Now I was young, but I thought, fuck, everything's gonna change for the better, and then everything was just a disaster. He was surveilling U.S. citizens. He was drone striking U.S. citizens. He, sold weapons to cartels and gangs through the ATF and Fast and Furious. He was just a really bad president. He didn't close Guantanamo Bay like he promised. He didn't end the war in Afghanistan like he promised. He left Iraq on George Bush's timetable. And so because of President Obama and my disappointment in his presidency, I became a Republican by 2012. And I started off as a very moderate Republican, became very libertarian for a number of years. And then, but my libertarianism was always informed by my Christian values. I was never in favor of abortion or gay marriage. I never believed in the non-aggression principle and a lot of the silly stuff there. But in recent years, say the last 3 years or so, I have recognized the need for some more authoritarian policies in the times that we are living in. Ideally, I would like to live in a libertarian-style society. Unfortunately, a lot of people in our society, immigrants and low IQ people and criminal scum, make it so that we have to unfortunately crack down and implement some more authoritarian policies than I would have liked. But that's kind of what my political progression was. How do I justify weed smoking? Once again, like, it's a very mild drug. It is not as hard on the body as alcohol. I'm very creative when I smoke weed. It does help me with my program and coming up with ideas and shit like this. I know a lot of people say that's a cope or whatever the fuck, and I just genuinely enjoy it. Um, how often do I do it? Um, I wouldn't say every day, but at least every week. It just depends. Like, if I want to, I can go weeks without it. But if I also want to, I will smoke every day. Typically, I do not smoke until the end of the day, until I've done everything productive. And then I smoke. And I think that's the best way to do it if you're going to do so. I hit the bong and I smoke poppers, which is pretty filthy and bad for your lungs. It's where you put a piece of cigarette in the popper piece, then the weed on top. You pull it through, you get the head rush from the cigarette with the high from the weed, and it's quite excellent. But I don't smoke cigarettes on their own because I don't get enough of the head rush. Are you going to go after some other people? There are thousands online who could not handle 1/10 of what you did to the gun. I'm not just the sort of guy that's going to go around trying to pick on low-hanging fruit motherfuckers. Maybe in the future, if somebody does something, and it comes to my attention that it's depraved and it's wrong and it's fucked up, and I think it's the right thing to do, maybe. But I don't just go around looking for lol cows. Like, I don't. That's not the way I act. Weed can exacerbate mental illness, but if you're psychologically fine and use moderation, it's okay. Look, I understand the risks of the drug. I'm not a fucking idiot. I don't know. Some of the stuff out there is bad. Well, some of the stuff, like, for instance, the dab rigs with the high THC oil and shit like this, I think is bad. Just to me, aesthetically, it's not pleasing to have to get out a fucking blowtorch to smoke wax. I think that when you have to fucking pull out a blowtorch to get high, it's a little degenerate. I'm just saying. And I also think it fucks your tolerance up. And the biggest thing about marijuana smoking is your tolerance. You have to smoke more and more and more. And so it's best to keep it once in a while, because then your highs are way better, right? You're getting way higher. You have a lower tolerance. You're smoking less. It wastes less money. When you're smoking this wax, your tolerance goes so fucking sky high, and it's expensive shit. That's something I don't believe in. I also don't believe in these fucking weird THC vape pens and shit like my brother uses. I think that those are probably really bad for you. I don't think we know what that does to the body yet. I know a lot of people think it's cleaner and safer, but I've seen, like, people in the States were dying from these THC fucking vape pens, yeah? So, DMT is not a very mild drug, you cunt. Nobody take DMT. Don't do that. My favorite time, I was doing 1 or 2 hits on a bowl. As soon as 2012 hit with the weird grown stuff, I noticed it got bad. I don't know what you're saying, really. Did you ever do any theater/acting activities? When you play up the PP stick, it's actually very entertaining. I always loved acting and drama and shit like this. I always loved it. I was always a showman, always an entertainer. Halloween was my favorite holiday, dressing up, playing characters. I always would win costume contests as a kid and things like this. So I really did like that stuff. But I'm not like a Shakespearean actor or a professionally trained actor or anything like this. I just liked it, and I did some Shakespeare at one point or another in school plays and stuff like this. But I never really a serious actor. Who's the anti-SJW channel you dislike the most? I don't know how many of them are even out there anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, maybe like somebody like the quartering or something like that. I don't know. Do you think demonic possession is real? I this is what I would say. In the Old Testament and in the past, demonic possession was certainly real. It was something that we can read about in the Bible. However, um, in the modern age, I do not believe that demonic possession happens. That's just my belief. I believe Satan has his powers to act on the earth have been limited. There is a reason why I believe that I cannot actually articulate right now. I've forgotten the verses that I would use to justify that. But yeah, certainly in the past it was a real thing. But right now, I do not believe that any of the demonic possessions that you see are true and correct. It's like the faith healing as well. I do not believe that past the apostles, because the gifts that they had to heal and to speak in tongues and to prophesy, they were passed on by the laying on of hands of the apostles. The people who the hands were laid on by the apostles did not have the ability to pass on those gifts to other people. So after they all died, those signs and those wonders ceased, and they were only necessary one time to showcase God's power at that time, and then we go on faith later generations. And we're more blessed to believe without the signs than those who believed with the signs, truly. Uh, who do you want to beat Trudeau in the next election? Well, it's going to have to be, what's his name? Holy fuck. Aaron O'Toole. I don't know. Justin's probably going to win again. He's probably going to roll out UBI and people are going to vote for him again. What's your opinion on the destruction of the temple in Jerusalem? It was destroyed in AD 70. It was the end, really, of the Jewish people and the Jewish religion, because after Jerusalem was destroyed in AD 70, no Jew has the ability to trace his genealogy back to his tribe. So there can be no Levite tribe, there can be no priesthood. The Jewish religion was dead after AD 70. Now, people believe that the destruction of the temple in Jerusalem in AD 70 was the end of time, and nothing existed after that, and everybody after that point is going to hell or going into the ether. There are people who believe stuff like this. I think they're wrong. There are people who believe the book of Revelation is speaking about the destruction of the temple in Jerusalem in AD 70. I don't think it's talking about that. I think the book of Revelation is speaking about the fall of the Roman Empire. That's who I think the Whore of Babylon is, and this sort of thing is the fall of the Roman Empire. And I also think it does speak towards the end times of humanity. But again, the book of Revelation is very difficult to decipher. It is not for the amateur Bible student. It is not for the lay person to understand. It is a coded letter that was written in Roman times so that only a Christian with deep Bible knowledge could understand it. And unfortunately, the book of Revelation is perverted by a lot of people today to sell books and to sell lectures and to con people out of their money. And a lot of the stuff with the tribulation or the premillennialist viewpoint, I do not believe in. I know some people in my audience might. I do not have a premillennial viewpoint on that. Are you a fan of Shakespeare? If so, what's your favorite play? I am a fan of Shakespeare's plays when they're performed. I am not a fan of reading the page of Shakespeare, and I think that that's what English classes miss out on, is that Shakespeare was meant to be a play with a performance, and people don't understand it when they're just reading it in archaic English. They really need to see the plays. My favorite play is probably either King Lear, The Merchant of Venice. I like Hamlet as well. This would probably be my three favorites. Othello as well. Derek Prince, because he has like 20 lectures. See, okay, this Derek Prince, I don't know him, but I know of people like that who talk about angels and demons and witchcraft and revelations and Zionism and rebuilding the Second Temple. All this stuff is a scam. And it's very fucked up, and it directs U.S. foreign policy, and that's why I really don't like it, is evangelicals are very influential, and the premillennialists are very influential, And they believe that we need to rebuild the temple in Jerusalem so Jesus can come back. So they support Israel on foreign policy and wars and things like this. And it just comes from doctrinal error. And I don't like these people. When people try and preach to you exclusively from Revelation, you know they're a false teacher. Revelation is something that is a bonus. It's something that is a puzzle for us to work on. It should not be the full basis of our faith. I'm sorry. The civilizations have come and gone many times. Okay. We've reached an interesting point in the show. I want those of you who are listening, and we will probably do a show on this guy. His name is Flat Earth British. Flat Earth British believes that the ancient Phoenicians have downloaded themselves and their consciousness into the water, and they are controlling our minds. He's crazy as fuck. He believes in these civilizations have rose and fallen and all that. I don't know about that stuff in Atlantis and all that, but I certainly know that the Phoenicians did not download their consciousness into the water. This guy also believes that we had cell phones 100 years ago and that there was free unlimited energy and that we've been lied to by everybody and deceived. And I mean, motherfucker, like, there are still people probably alive who are alive in the 20s. Well, maybe not anymore, but, you know, certainly, you know, they would have told us about this, you know, that there was free unlimited power. The guy's fucking wild. I've never seen anyone as crazy as that motherfucker. Do you believe in aliens and cryptids? I don't really. As a kid, I was really obsessed with aliens and cryptids and stuff like this. But I just found that there was never enough compelling evidence for any of it. And it's fun and it's cool to speculate and to look into it. But genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, I don't really believe in any aliens, and I don't really believe in any cryptids, although I do really like cryptids, and I'm more interested in cryptids at this point than aliens. But, you know, no real evidence ever comes out for it, and it's just kind of like jerking yourself off. It's really like a mental masturbation task. You are a Southern Baptist. Do I take the Bible literally? Well, you asked that question. The Bible is meant to be taken literally in some parts, and in some parts the message is figurative. The context determines which parts we take literally and figuratively. This is what a lot of people get wrong. I am not a Southern Baptist because I do not believe that we are saved by faith alone. Okay, I deny that. We are saved by faith and we are saved by God's grace, but we need to accept God's grace, you know. By our works we show our faith. We're not justified by our works. We're justified by grace. The Baptists are correct on that. But the idea that you do not have to live a Christian lifestyle in order to be saved, and that you can live in sin and do what you want and you'll be saved if you just one time mentally believe in God, is craziness. And it's not supported. And I could get into that more, but Sasquatch has been seen in literally every country in the world. Well, I don't know, man. Yeah, well, the people who argue for aliens based on, like, statistics and math and, well, there's so many worlds, so there's bound to be aliens at some point and all this shit, that's fine. But to, like, the people who are trying to say, like, oh, well, I was abducted by this flying saucer, or they got a picture of a flying saucer, I don't trust any of that bullshit. Dispatch is calling me a liar. Okay, who gives a shit? A Confederacy of Dunces. Not Reddit, no. I might read it. DM me on Twitter so I don't forget. What is Dispatch calling me out for? What is his problem? Is it cool for Christians to celebrate Halloween? Yeah. Look, a lot of people go, oh, there's occult things about it, satanic things about it, this and that. Look, if you don't celebrate it in a way where you think you're celebrating the occult or celebrating Satan and things like this, it all matters about what your intentions are and the way you view the holiday. Again, Jesus wasn't born on 25th of December, but I still celebrate Christmas. So I think all this stuff about holidays and not celebrating Halloween or not celebrating Christmas, I think these people are going a little over the top and a little extreme. But if they genuinely feel in their heart that it'd be sinful to celebrate Halloween, if you feel that in your heart, then don't do it. It's similar when in Romans, Paul is talking about for some Christians, they can only eat vegetables because for them, they think to eat the meat sacrificed to the altar or of a foreign god is worshiping that god. It's not, because the god doesn't exist. So if you're strong enough as a Christian, you can celebrate Halloween or you can celebrate Christmas. It's one of those instances where, but if your conscience leads you to think that it's sin, you mustn't do it. It's a matter of conscience. That's what I'm going to say. Do you think Rome has fallen? Some people believe the idea that Rome has continued on in the major global hegemons. Well, the Roman Empire certainly fell, but Rome's influence in the world still exists through the Vatican. A lot of that stuff is a little bit out there, you know, but some people believe that. Yeah, I'm not really a believer in that. Man, there's a lot of chat. I gotta get back here. PPP and surfer hunting Bigfoot would be hilarious. I would love to do a show. I wanted to fly out to Loch Ness, and Godwinson and us were going to go up and do a documentary on the Loch Ness Monster. That might still happen, but all this COVID stuff has to fuck off. Should Christians build a fleet of interstellar missionary space starships to spread God's word across the cosmos? Well, I don't believe that there are aliens because the Bible doesn't tell us about them. And I don't believe that we would ever meet them. They might exist. We're not told about them. So I imagine that it's just not relevant for us to know. There may be other alien races created by God that worship him, but it's something that we're not meant to know, and they may be so far away in the universe that we could never reach them. What are your thoughts on the Orthodox Church? Again, I don't believe in this hierarchical structure of churches. I don't believe that there should be a patriarch or a pope or a bishop or a clergy and laity class. So that's my main issue with the Orthodox religion, is the whole structure of having a clergy and a laity. I believe that all Christians are equal in the sight of God. I do not like the idea of having to go to another man to have my sins forgiven instead of just being able to kneel before the throne of the Father in heaven. So that's my main issue with them. A lot of what they teach is righteous in the Orthodox Church, for sure, but there are a lot of false teachings as well. What? Check Twitter. Dispatch war. I don't see anything. We had more advanced civilizations in the distant past. Look, you may have done a lot more research on this than me. I really have never looked into that stuff. I think it's cool, the idea of like Atlantis and like the civilizational cycles and all this. I think it's cool. If you believe in that stuff, that's fine. I haven't looked into it enough. Do you believe there are still giants like the ones from Kandahar? I don't know if there's like full-on races of giants. Like, from what I understand, in Patagonia in South America, there were races of people that were 7 or 8 feet tall on average. And in the distant past, for sure, there definitely were races of people that might have selected in a fashion to have a tall height. I think there are certain tribes in Africa that have very high average heights, but I don't know if there still exist, maybe in very isolated areas of South America or Africa that human beings have never been to. Maybe there are races of giants, but I haven't seen conclusive evidence that would be the case. Although I do believe that in past times, there certainly were giants, even races of them. There definitely have always been, and we have documented evidence of individuals who are 8 or 9 feet tall and stuff like this. What do you think about the Black Israelites? It's a LARP. Okay, the lost tribes. People always try and make up a bunch of bullshit about the lost tribes of Israel. They're lost. They're not going to be found. They're not the Native Americans, and they're not black people. I'm sorry. Well, there's nothing to make up. Like, me and Godwinson are not fighting. It was all a LARP to test the loyalty of certain people who were exposed to snakes, and certain people were exposed as being loyal. Okay, let's get back down here. Let's get into this some more. The Smithsonian destroys evidence of anything that would make us re-raised. I don't know if that's true, man. I don't know. These flat earth people get involved in some crazy shit. The headless men in northern Africa. I've seen that on old maps that like explorers had from like the 1600s and stuff, but I didn't actually think there was ever any evidence of the headless people. How do you discern what is of Christ versus not of Christ in today's world? Why is the message of today's pastors getting worse and worse and more political? Should you leave church? It's very hard to discern what's of Christ versus what's not of Christ. You have to go by your conscience. Your conscience, your natural sense of right and wrong, typically isn't going to guide you wrong unless your conscience has been so seared by sin and by worldly living that you no longer understand what's right and wrong. And if that's happened, you're pretty much basically lost. But why is the message of today's pastors getting worse and worse and more political? It's because these pastors and these, I don't even like the term pastor. It is scriptural pastor, but I don't like any title for preacher. I just like preacher. The reason it's getting bad is they feel like they have to appeal and change with the times to keep people in the church buildings, right? So they are going to preach what they think is going to get more people in the building, which is a softening of Christianity. The United Church denies miracles. Other churches accept homosexuals, accept female pastors, accept abortion, accept all sorts of things that are wrong, thinking it will get more people into the building and keep the churches going. But when they do this, what tends to happen, like with the United Church, is that the United Church's membership over the last 50 years has gone down by half. Why? Because the people that were there realized that this was a scam and it was silly. Once you give up those core principles of what makes your faith, people no longer see any point in it or any value in it, and they end up leaving. I think that if you're in a church that is teaching wrong and you know it's wrong, stop attending that church. You can have meetings at your own home with Christians who are faithful, small meetings where 2 or more are gathered, there Christ will be, and you can have the Lord's table and things like that. As long as you have one other person with you. If you don't have one other person that you can have the communion memorial, the Lord's table on Sundays, stuff like this, then you might want to stay there until you can figure something out. If you have a Church of Christ in your area, even if they're a little bit more liberal, they're still better than most churches. A conservative Church of Christ, if you can find it, is what I advise that you join. That's what I am. But again, it's everybody's own decision what they're going to do. Swedenborg? Emanuel Swedenborg. I'll have to read more about this guy. What do you think of the Mormon videos? Again, Mormonism is wrong. It's obviously wrong. It's obviously silly. Joseph Smith was obviously a fraud and a con man. No Native American has ever been traced their genetics back to Israel or the Lost 10 Tribes. They do all this genealogical work at Brigham Young University and other places, and their doctrine is really out there. And Mormonism does help some people live happy lives with good family values, but they are living a lie. So, Am I more of an introvert or an extrovert? I always have enjoyed public speaking and engaging in extroversion with people. However, at the same time, I do gain a lot of energy from being alone, and I prefer to be alone. I prefer solitude, to be honest, but I do also like to talk, and I like to be an extrovert. I like to engage. So I don't know which one I am more so. Like, I prefer to be alone, but I also really enjoy talking to people and engaging with people. So. Will we expose the? Oh, there will be a nose exposed stream. Don't worry. Some point. I just wish that the people who know that they're traitors would just come out and say, "Yeah, we're traitors, and we tried to fuck over Godwinson, or we tried to fuck over PPP." What do you think about the second coming of Christ and all that stuff? Well, Jesus said, "No one will know the day or hour of my coming." Okay, no one knows the day or hour. When people try and tell you that they can calculate it, they're going to know the day or hour. They're lying to you. Jesus Christ will return. There will be a judgment. People will be sent to heaven or hell. That's what's going to happen. There isn't going to be a 1,000-year earthly physical kingdom. I don't believe in that. There isn't going to be a tribulation period. It's just going to be like that. Christ is going to return. The dead will rise from their graves. There will be a judgment in the skies. That's what we read. That's all I know. What is your preferred version of the Bible? I prefer the New King James or the King James version of the Bible. I think the New King James is best for teaching people because it's more modern English and it's a very faithful translation to the King James. I know some people who go King James alone, but I find that its utility is lacking because of its archaic English. I understand it might be a more faithful translation in some parts, but in reality, I think the New King James is very, very solid. New American Standard is fine. The American Standard is fine. Revised English Standard is okay. I don't use the New International Version. I know it's the most popular now, but the New International Version has so many terrible mistranslations in it. Don't use the New International Version. There are other versions that you should also stay away from, but that's the main one you need to stay away from. I'd say New King James, New American Standard. These Revised English Standard is okay, but it's a tier below the others. This would have to be a deeper conversation that I would go on with you guys for a long time about different Bible versions, and I would have to refresh in my mind on this topic. Okay, if we were to go any deeper. Have the sense of humor to judge Gunty by reading from his Kiwi farm said, do you approve of angelic analog? I don't know. You tend to see these things as Gnostic or symbolic, if I have to be honest. They're ways of communicating ideas. I'm not sure what you were saying there, Gamer Sweet, about what were you saying that. Will Jim go to heaven? Probably not. I don't know his religious situation, but from what he says and the way he acts, I think Jim's probably going to go to hell. I don't think he's a Christian, and therefore I don't think he's going to heaven. Are PPP capos going to heaven? Again, it depends on their relationship with Christ and if they've lived a righteous life. Do you think you take criticism to heart? I try my best. I'm just a human being. When people criticize something and I think they're right, I'll do my best. But, if I think the criticism is wrong, obviously I'm going to just say fuck you or whatever. But who knows? Sometimes I think it's wrong and really it's right. We're all fallible at the end of the day. Especially me. I'm nothing special. We can know the week, the month, and the year. Oh, some guy. Are you a fan of Greasy Cavemen? I can't say I am. What do you think of Jehovah's Witnesses? It's a cult, just like Mormonism. Jehovah's Witness is a cult. Jehovah's Witness is wrong. Their belief on the 144,000 is wrong. Their belief on blood transfusions are wrong. So much is wrong with Jehovah's Witness. We could go for hours. They deny the Trinity. They deny the divinity of Christ. They deny a lot of things. They are crazy, crazy, crazy. And they know doctrine inside now. They know verses inside now, and they're tricky. I'll tell you, the main four cults are Mormonism, Jehovah's Witness, Seventh-day Adventist, sorry Leo, and in Christian Science were considered the four major cults. Christian Science has kind of fallen by the wayside, and been replaced by other groups. But Mormonism, Seventh-day Adventist, Jehovah's Witness. If you're in one of these groups, get out now. Get out now. Catholicism isn't necessarily a cult per se, and honestly, I'm being a little bit hard on Mormonism, but Jehovah's Witness is bad, and Seventh-day Adventist, it depends by the congregation with the Adventists, but they're pretty cult-like as well. And that's generally how mainline Christianity looked at these groups, is as cults. Would I purge the cults? No, I wouldn't. If I was in charge of things, I would have freedom of religion and conscience for people. I think that's very important. What makes you the arbiter of religious sects? I am not the arbiter of religious sects. I am one man with an opinion, and I believe I have the truth, as everybody else does. So, again, you can either take my opinion, which I believe to be fact, actually, or you can have your own view. Can a virtuous non-Christian reach heaven? No, they can't. No, they can't. The only way into the kingdom of heaven is through Jesus Christ. And broad is the path that leads to destruction, and narrow is the gate that leads to salvation. The vast, vast, vast majority of people on earth are going to hell, okay? I would say 90-95% of people are definitely going to hell, okay? It's just the truth. There are a lot of good people who live good moral lives who are going to hell because they did not accept Jesus Christ. I know that's hard for a lot of people. Whoa, how could God send them to hell? Well, they didn't humble themselves to accept Jesus Christ. They didn't want his mercy. They didn't want his blood to cleanse their sins. If you have even one sin that's not been cleansed by the blood of Christ, you're going to hell. Human beings deserve to go to hell for the most part. We're generally very wicked, fallible people who do a lot of wrong. And we really do deserve punishment. And it's only through the grace and mercy of Jesus Christ, who loved us and died for us, that we have the opportunity to have salvation. It's far easier for me to believe in hell than it is heaven. I'll tell you that now. I don't really think any human beings are really virtuous enough to deserve eternal paradise with Jesus Christ, including myself. I think most people are very wicked and deserve to go to hell. And I think that the people who don't want there to be a hell and don't want there to be punishment for the wicked are the worst. The people who are wicked in this life and they get away with it and they live great lives, you have to believe that they'll be punished at some point for the wrong that they've done. People like Jeffrey Epstein and George Soros and these sick people that live these wealthy lives, these extravagant lifestyles, and they seem to have it all in the world. I believe that in eternity they will have nothing. Yeah, you can say it's wishful thinking if you'd like. I mean, you're an atheist or whatever. Yeah, of course there's no separation between you and God. Catholicism is a false start. Of course it is. Yeah, it is based on the Bible and Christian history. Yeah, absolutely. It's not really an opinion. What do I think of the Irish? They're fine. What is the biblical interpretation of hell? Is it fire and torture? It is a place that you just don't want to go. It's a place where we read there will be bitterness, there will be weeping, there will be gnashing of teeth. There will be regret from the people that are there. We're told it's a place where the worm never dies, and the flame is never quenched. Does this mean it's a place of literal fire and brimstone? I don't think so. What hell is is separation from God. God is the source of everything that is good in the universe. So separation from God is separation from all that is good. It is like the absence of warmth. It is what cold is. The absence of warmth is what hell is. Hell is a place that we cannot understand. We cannot understand heaven or hell from an earthly perspective because we only understand the physical. This is a realm that is spiritual. Okay? And so therefore we don't have a frame of reference and we cannot adequately understand what it will be like except what we've had described to us in the Bible, which is a place where you just don't want to go, is how I'd explain it. And with heaven, a lot of people have misconceptions about it as well. For instance, I do not believe that you will see your family members in heaven. We'll all be changed. Our forms will be changed. We will not recognize each other. We'll not know each other. You say, oh, that'll be terrible. I won't get to see my grandma or my son or this or that. What you have to understand is you won't mind. It will be something that is completely transcendent beyond what our understanding is. Do you believe in giant sea monsters? Is Leviathan out there in the ocean somewhere? To a certain extent, I believe in them. I think the ocean is the last real frontier. There's so much of it that's been unexplored, and there really could be some incredible things down there. That's probably where you will find cryptids and crazy stuff like that. What do you think makes people become atheists? Well, it's different for other people. Some people have had a really bad experience with organized religion. And because they feel like they know religion, because they were in a terrible organized religion cult or some terrible stuff like this, they reject God for that reason. Other people reject God because they've had a traumatic experience in their life that they blame God for. And if there was a loving God, how could he let my 3-year-old son die of cancer? Stuff like this, right? There are people who are atheists because they don't want restrictions on their lives. They don't want to have to live a moral life or a Christian lifestyle. So therefore they reject God so that they can have wine and women and song and partying and all this sort of thing, right? That's a different group of people. There are some groups of people who are atheists because they genuinely think that that is the logical, scientific way to look at the world, okay? Those people, it's very sad for them that their souls are going to be lost. They're genuine in their disbelief. People like Richard Dawkins and stuff like that. Although Dawkins isn't entirely like that, you know, he had a bad experience with his religious upbringing and stuff like this. So there's various reasons why people turn out that way. And it's not just that they're evil people or whatever. There's various reasons why. How do we fight the degeneration of the internet and the Zoomers? Dude, I don't know how we're going to fight the degeneration of the internet. I don't know, man. You got to worry about your family and yourself and your relationship with God. That's really what you got to worry about. These things in the world that we're so concerned about with the politics and stuff like this, honestly, us as individuals, it's very difficult for us to actually change things in the world. Very, very difficult. And for you to look to me for guidance on that, I think is a bit misguided by you. Yeah, I got Reiketa a trophy. I'm going to present it to him tomorrow. I got a real good trophy for him. Wine, women, and song is the most elegant way to describe how Dax thinks he lives his life. Well, it is. That's why the Bible uses it. Why do people love and defend grifters? Well, some of them, they have like a father figure issue and they look up to the grifter. Other people genuinely believe you should be able to make money online and this and that. I don't think it's wrong necessarily to make money online. I think the way people go about making money online and the way it changes their persona and their brand and stuff like this is wrong. And that's why I oppose to it. I just want like your opinion, man. Yeah. AI coming, yeah, AI is going to be a disaster. I don't know why we've ever developed it, but the problem is that if one country decides, well, we're not going to develop AI, like say America, Canada, the Western world say it's too dangerous to go into AI, and then for instance China goes into AI and they get an advantage over us militarily or technologically, which they certainly would, it would be very disadvantageous to us. The whole world would basically have to agree not to explore this technology. And just like with nuclear weapons, that's just never going to happen. So unfortunately, we're faced with the reality that AI is going to come in our lifetimes, that a lot of people are going to be automated out of jobs. A lot of us are going to end up dead or impoverished or enslaved, and it's just not going to be great. I don't believe in shapeshifters, man. I'd have to see some evidence of shapeshifters or reptilians, and if I could make money from streaming, I would. Work sucks. Well, look, man, work is a good thing, okay? Work gives you structure to your life. It gives you a purpose. It just depends what work you're doing. And if you don't like the work you're doing, you need to get into a different field, man. You know, sure, you could make money streaming, but I talked to a lot of guys who were on top of the world on YouTube, making lots of money, guys like Jarbo, guys like Kraut, and it doesn't last. It's very ephemeral. And, you know, a lot of the time your real life jobs are going to be ephemeral as well. But, you know, you can at least list it on a resume and do something else in that field. Whereas with this stuff, it just doesn't last. And you're just not going to make enough. Even if you did make enough to support yourself for a while, is it going to last? Probably not. I've seen They Live, and They Live is good. Watch They Live if you haven't seen it. With Roddy Piper. Excellent messaging. What is the U.S. government hiding in Area 51? I think more than likely it's just military research tech. If there was alien stuff there, it's probably been moved. And honestly, they probably use other bases now because of all the scrutiny on Area 51. Being poor, well, being poor doesn't necessarily have to suck, man. It just depends how poor you are. I mean, if you got a roof over your head and you've got food and you got clothes on your back and you're living a simple life, you have the simple pleasures of life, it's really not that bad, man. Honestly, the more money you have, the more responsibility you have, the tougher your life honestly is. I know a lot of people don't believe that, but I just know that that's true. Again, people are poor a lot of the time because that's what they want and that's what's easiest. To be rich is something that also you have a lot of responsibility in the way that you use that wealth. That's why it's hard for a rich man to enter heaven, and it's a lot easier for a poor man to enter heaven. Not true when you have kids. Well, I understand. But he wants to provide for their kids. You want to give them a good life and things like this. But yeah, they get rich, they move to LA, they die inside. You just look at Dax, man. You look at that dude, man. He's a hollowed out shell of a man. Well, of course, being poor in 2020 is crazy, man. Like, I'm not wealthy, you know, and I have the ability to broadcast myself to hundreds of people at a time through a little device I hold in my pocket. Air conditioning. I have more choice in food than a king would have had 500 years ago. There's so much that you have now, you know, I mean, fuck. It's just amazing the quality of life we have in the West. People here don't really know what true poverty is. They really don't. There's rituals going on underground in LA. It's dark energy, makes everyone who lives there go mad. Yes, look what you can get just for the price of an internet connection. All the entertainment and reading ever made. I mean, for me, it's like, what more do you really need than what you can get with your internet connection? I mean, the quality of food is still pretty good. Like, you know, I don't understand what people really need. They need every gadget. I mean, look, like I have like this laptop, I have like a Nintendo Switch, I have like, and I'm not rich. I'm not even middle class. Like I am fucking working class, poor. You know, it just depends. Like everything that you have in life, like you earn, and you know, you just have to be happy with what you have. I mean, man, there have been times where I've been homeless, man. You know, you just have to be happy that you fucking have a roof over your head, you have food. You know, I don't know. A lot of people get so depressed and so suicidal over such silly things. It's just crazy, sad, really. Well, you're a special needs child. I'm not surprised you're a special needs child, Honest Whisperer. You should be glad you were raised in this century. A lot of people talk about, oh, it would have been so great to live back then in this time period or this time period. They don't recognize the reality of those time periods. Like, especially if you were like a woman or some shit like this. Like, in times where you were bleeding out your vagina and there wasn't fucking tampons and shit like this. Like, holy fuck, man. You had like one set of clothes and you lived in fucking filth and squalor and you never traveled more than a mile from your house. Fuck, people don't understand how shitty it was. Watch Hard to Be a God. That Russian film, Hard to Be a God, if you don't understand how shitty living in the past was. Now, sure, there was a greater sense of community and some traditional values, and there are good aspects to those past civilizations. I'm just saying that with the advances we have now, we can live so comfortably and so easy and do so little work. I mean, the working class today who works in call centers and retail, I mean, holy fuck, guys. 100, 200 years ago, you'd be in a fucking coal mine, motherfuckers. Fucking coal mine. Or a fucking logger cutting down fucking trees and shit. You know, a lot of, like, the working class bitches and moans way too much. It's just my belief. Do you think people need to be homeless to appreciate life? No, I don't. I don't think that you need to go to rock bottom to appreciate life and stuff like that. But I think that you need to have some sense of fucking perspective, you know, and recognize, you know, your place in reality. Just being born in the first world, just having access to this stream that I'm talking to you right now, having the free time to just sit here and listen to this fat fuck bloviate for hours. You're just so blessed. I don't know. I'm not gonna really talk about when it's homeless. I mean, I made videos at the time. So people who were here from the very beginning of the channel, there might be only 40 fucking people, I've seen the video of me homeless where I'm sleeping in a fucking teepee at night for a couple days. It wasn't like an extended period, but you know, people were crying after watching Avatar 3D. I heard this, that they wanted to live in that world. Like, fuck you, you know, fuck you. Well, yeah, obviously you'd recommend avoiding becoming homeless at all costs. I wouldn't advise anybody become fucking homeless. It's not that hard to not become homeless. It's hard to become not homeless if you've burned every bridge in your life and you're a total piece of shit. This, that, and the other thing. It's also really hard to even become homeless in the first place. And the reality was, I still was renting a place. I was just like locked out of it for a few days. It's complicated, but it wasn't like I had burned every bridge in my life or whatever. You know, I was like homeless for like 2 days, you know. No, 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 no. When VR becomes super realistic, people will replace reality with it. Oh, probably, yeah. No, if you are going to become homeless, don't hit hard drugs. That's how you never get off the fucking street there. Yeah, it is crazy to be homeless and have family in the same area. Some people just have really bad relationships with their families and things like this, right? And it should never be, but it sometimes happens this way. Usually, only it's really hard for this to happen, really, because you have to pretty much burn every bridge in your life, all your friends, all your family, basically be a drug addict. It's easy to fall into temporary homelessness, like if you lose your job and you can't pay your rent, then yeah, but as long as you still have family alive or friends that you can crash with, you're not really homeless. So. Why do you think people are suicidal and depressed in modern society? Um, I don't know. I think a lot of the values that we raise people with, oh, you can be anything, you can do anything, you can be what you want to be, all that sort of shit sets people up for disappointment because you can't be whatever you want to be. You can only be what you are, what you have the skills for, what you were naturally born to do, what you're able to develop your natural ability into. Okay? If you're born 5'1", you're not playing in the NBA, son. If you're born with an 80 IQ, you're not going to be an engineer, son. Okay? There are just some things that people aren't meant to do, and people who were meant to be 80 IQ grunt workers, there's nothing wrong with that, and they have these higher expectations for their life, and people don't prime them realistically for life. Their parents don't tell them that there's going to be bills, that they're going to have to work, that there's going to be problems. People just aren't prepared properly. They're coddled and kept safe from everything. And because of that, when they encounter the real world and they encounter problems for the first time, they become depressed, they become suicidal, they get fucked up. Okay? That's genuinely why I think a lot of people are so depressed. I also think that the nature of relationships in the 21st century is really fucked up. Like shit like Tinder and online dating. People don't really make real connections with anybody anymore in terms of their relationship. It still happens. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. But things are a lot more transactional. And because of this, people don't find contentment in their partners as much. And they see a lot of, you see on social media, a lot of other people who have supposedly perfect lives, right? You see them on vacations and trips and nice meals and this and that and the other thing. And you think, oh, wow, why is my life not like that? Well, their life isn't actually like that. They have problems in their lives too. You have this false expectation that, well, why am I not living up to these other people whose lives are so great? Their lives aren't that great. They have problems. You're just seeing Facebook pictures and you're seeing shit that isn't real. And unfortunately, a lot of people allow shit that isn't real to fuck with their reality. And that's sad. Yeah, long-term relationships are archaic. Kiss my ass. I do live in a nearly 100% white society. I do. Where I live is very white. Now, because of the college and the university where I live, we do see more immigrants. Uh, so, but it's still very, very white. Well, there are a lot of reasons. Being deprived of natural lifestyle, all this. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons why people are the way they are. Stop cherishing and encouraging genuine, extraordinary talent and excellence. Yeah, this is the thing. Is I really think that the school systems as well. I really do not like. It seems to me that instead of focusing on the intelligent children in the class and ensuring that they're going to reach their full potential, the naturally talented kids. A lot of the time, the teachers spend their time babysitting the retarded children and try and drag the retarded children up to the level of the smart children. It's just never going to happen. They're not meant to be that. And I really think that we ought to start there needs to be a more of a delineation early on in primary school where we get the kids who are talented at math into engineering, into science, into tech, into math, into the STEM fields, and shit like this real quick. And we start to hone those natural abilities that they have immediately from the beginning. And with the fucking grunts, we just tell them, look, man, you're going to be a fucking grunt. Like, it's fine. There's tons of porn. There's all, you know what I mean? I don't think that that's right, but, you know, to say that in particular. But, you know, you're going to have a nice life anyway. UBI is probably going to take care of you in the future. But yeah, the modern education system has so many things wrong with it. It just encourages compliance. It encourages uniformity. It encourages a submissive and docile nature. I never liked school because I would always challenge the professors and the teachers. And in some circumstances, in particular like history class, I would know more than the teacher or the professor. And it would really piss me off. And I just would not submit to them. And they just didn't like it. And again, it's my own fault, but I would not fall in line a lot of the time with a teacher or a professor. And I had issues that way. I say they should teach life skills like doing taxes, balancing your account. Well, of course, everybody says that. They never fucking fix it. To become a preschool teacher in Norway requires a bachelor's degree from a university college. This should be adopted. I don't know if I agree with that. I think that right now the universities churn out very compliant, very mediocre people. I don't think that they screen out total tards, yeah, but they don't really promote excellence. And so I actually think getting a university degree a lot of the time, especially just like a bachelor's, is almost like a mark of compliance and submission. You know, I might be a little out there on that because I've had some bad experiences when I went to university and college. But yeah. Yeah, all of the camps fell under the communist controlled parts of Germany. Strange. I'm at 11% on my phone. So this is going to probably end soon. Because I'm not going to get up and get my charger, to be honest. But at the end of the day, yeah, I got an associate's, but it doesn't matter. College is a scam. Okay, I really don't like it. You go into a lot of debt to get something that is really just a piece of paper. It's credentialism. A lot of the time, you haven't really learned any skills. Like I went, and the field I went into, it wasn't necessary. Really. And a lot of fields, it's not necessary. Now, some fields, yeah. If you're going to go into medicine, if you're going to go into certain engineering fields, yeah, you need this stuff. Lawyer, you need it. But if you're like doing coding and you're in tech and you're fucking, you have those skills, you don't need to go. It's just credentialism. It's just bullshit. The skills that you bring to the market are going to determine what your value and what your wage is. And if you're good enough at bullshitting and selling like I am, you don't need any sort of fucking degree or anything at all, really. Just need what's between your ears, quick wits, and a pair of fucking balls. I know that's fucking some boomerist bullshit, but it is true. I just think that if you start working at 19, you're better off than anyone in school. You probably are. And a lot of guys, and I recommend getting real life experience, going into the workforce, deciding what you want to be by 25, 26. You know, if you really want to go to school before you're 30. Once you start to get into your mid-30s, your skill set and your life is going to crystallize, like Sam Hyde says, and it's going to be very tough to change it from there. I'm not going to tell you what I do for a living. I'm just not. Because I just don't want people to fuck with it. Look, the trades are great, and for the guys who can do trades, they're wonderful. But look, man, I don't work with my hands. Okay, like I'm just shitty with my coordination. Just the type of guy that I am, I just never good with my hands, and so for trades, it wasn't gonna work for me. It is what it is. Now, if you're fucking good with your hands, you like the physical work, yeah, the trades are the way to fucking go, for sure. But again, a lot of you guys already know this shit. Like, I don't have to tell you this stuff. The women living off OnlyFans, I mean, I don't think it's a huge amount of women. The reality is 99% of women who go on OnlyFans are going to make fucking nothing or very small amounts. There will always be whores. This is just another avenue of whoredom. It is wrong. We shouldn't encourage it. It should not really be allowed, but unfortunately it is. Mia Khalifa joined OnlyFans, eh? Oh, fuck. Didn't she say that she was done with porn like a few days ago? It was all bullshit, yeah. Yeah, well, it was all an attention stunt, wasn't it, Honest Whisperer, then? All a total attention stunt. Yeah, we've already seen all we need to see of her. It's the only people who do this OnlyFans shit are people who want, like, a personal connection with the girl or, like, some girlfriend simulator shit with the messages and the tips and all that stuff. I mean, unless you're into financial domination, there's really no reason to go in and sub to an OnlyFans. People, and even if you're into that, you need to fix your life and not be into that, yeah? Do we ban lolicon, or is that going to lead to a slippery slope where we ban books, drawings, and profits, etc.? Must allow it. No, we can ban it, and it's once again, it still is banned. I think it's illegal in the United States, so it's not by necessity going to lead to bannings of books and art. You know what I mean? To say that is a logical fallacy. That is the slippery slope fallacy at its fucking finest. We have lived in a society without lolicon for a long time. We can probably live in a society without lolicon forever without sacrificing our principles. There are some things that are obscene. Everybody would agree that child pornography should not be covered under freedom of speech. So everybody draws a line somewhere with speech, yeah? And I draw it with lolicon. So. No, I'm not going to avoid engaging Nick on legal arguments because I don't think he has a legal argument to fucking stand on. I don't care. Blindsided and Reiketa. Like, what's he going to do? He's going to blindside me, I'll blindside him. We'll see what happens. Have you seen Brittany Venti struggling? Well, Brittany Venti is a dummy. Of course she's struggling in those arguments. But honestly, we shouldn't even be engaging with, like, pedophiles on Twitter and shit like this. Their opinions don't matter. They should get the bullet. Daddy Dax. Did you, bro? All right. Let's go maybe 2 more minutes, and my phone's gonna die anyway. Let's go 2 more minutes, and then I've got to go. What is my favorite time period in history? I really find the transition from the 1950s to the 1960s and just the sheer amount of change in the culture and the whiplash from that to be extraordinarily fascinating. I also find the presidency of Richard Nixon to be very, very interesting. I really like that period from the 1950s to probably the end of the Nixon administration. I really like to analyze that time in history because I think it's very relevant to our times today. Also, really like the 19th century. There's a lot of interesting stuff there. When I was a kid, I preferred like Rome and Egypt, but now I prefer more modern history, to be honest. The Cuba trip, we'll see. Like, if the second wave hits, I can't do it. What's your opinion on Hololive, VTubers, and their Sims? I don't even know what a VTuber is, man. Is it those people that like they put up like a anime girl and it talks and people jerk off to it? Because if so, it's just stupid. And I don't even know why people are paying for it. What do I think is the worst sin? I think it's probably molesting children, but I'm not the judge of that. God's the judge of that. And all sins really are equal in the eyes of God. They're all falling short of his standard. Campbell's Chunky Soup. I like the clam chowder, actually. Did Godwinson smoke weed with me? Yeah, he did. He took edibles and he fucking got really fucked up. Do you think it is important to have a life purpose? And can it be compatible with Christianity? I think it's very important to have a life purpose. You have to have some reason that you're alive, something that you want to accomplish, something you want to do that drives you forward, a greater goal, a greater purpose. Because if you don't, you're not going to be happy and you're not really going to go anywhere in your life. You're going to be directionless. Why is our flag a leaf? Because the country is retarded. Who do you think will win the English Premier League? Let's go for Liverpool. I like Liverpool. Do you think Kenny versus Spenny will ever get another season? No, and I don't think it really should. The Trailer Park Boys revival, to me, has been pretty bad. And I just don't want to see that show. Now, if Kenny and Spenny, when they get to be 70, 80 years old, and they're old men, now maybe there's something there, right? They're grandpas, and they're doing that type of show, then yeah, maybe there could be something there. But right now, they're like middle-aged, they're like in their 50s, and maybe 10, 15 years bring it back. But I don't know, like it just, like the Trailer Park Boys, to me, the revival was very bad. Sometimes it's best to just let things go and enjoy what we have, because when you get shit like Star Trek Picard comes out and just shits all over it, oh man. You just get depressed. Which one of your fast food binges was the most difficult? The 100 chicken nuggets. 100%. Easy E or 50 Cent? Easy E. Don't watch much Kids in the Hall. People tell me I'm like that one guy from Kids in the Hall, but I don't really watch it. Do you plan on losing weight? Eventually, man. Honestly, I don't even mind if I die in the next number of years. I don't really want to live, to be honest, in this world to see the future that's going to be in store when I'm 50 and 60 and 70 years old. So I think the reason partially that I am obese is that subconsciously I'm very depressed about the state of things and I kind of want to die. But yeah, I should lose some weight. Who's the greatest actor? I like Marlon Brando. It's tough to say. There's a great number of actors throughout history. Well, I'd just sooner go to heaven than live in the absolute hell that's going to be on earth. It is selfish, obviously, but yeah, this place is going to be bad. It's going to get real bad. How come you don't have a girlfriend, PPP? Well, look at me. I think the major reason why I don't want one right now. It just doesn't fit into my lifestyle and the way I do things. It's a very inconvenient thing. There's a lot of bitching and moaning and whining and drama and bullshit. And I just, right now in my life, I just don't want it. And, you know, again, like, I just, it's very difficult in the modern dating world because unless the girl goes to the same church as you and stuff like this, it's very difficult to find somebody of the right temperament, the right morality, and all this. I know it all sounds like a cope, and oh, you're virgin and you're fat and whatever, you know. I don't give a fuck. Um, well, once again, I don't think you really should be fat. Okay, um, it's not good for you. Um, but ultimately, certain people like their genetics are gonna lead them to be that way. Like the ectomorph, endomorph, mesomorph thing, I think is somewhat true. Some people are just going to be naturally a bit thicker and huskier. With me, it's a case of gluttony, straight up. Like I eat too much. I really enjoy my life. Maybe there is some sort of genetic predisposition to it a little bit, but when I was a boy, I was fucking rail thin, and um, so was David Koresh a sinner or soldier of God? Um, no, but you okay. So he's obviously not a soldier of God. You're skinny, but not by effort. You've eaten like a glutton. Okay, yeah, but you don't really understand like how much people like me eat. Like in order to be as fat as I am, you really have to work at it. You really have to work at it, bud. Um, it's just the truth. It's paypal.me/People's Populist Press, Jay. If you go to my BitChute, Jay, and you hit the money button, there's a PayPal link. You can send me money if you really want to, but I don't really recommend that you do. Yeah, well, the immobility really was why I gained a lot of weight this time because I was 190 pounds. Then I fucking tore my ACL out, and man, it's just depressing. Like when you can't get up and walk, man, that's tough. It's tough. So yeah, that's a large reason why I did gain weight. Also, I love food, man. It's just true. Uh, and also, again, for men, because a girl here goes, chubby guys are cute. Might be a man, but who knows? For a man, what you look like isn't really that important with girls anyway. The reality is, you can get away pretty much with fucking a lot. Okay, you can get away with a lot. I know. Well, of course, it's diet for the most part. Exercise determines your health, and diet determines your weight. That's what I believe. Diet does play a part in health as well, but come on. It's calories in, calories out is weight. Really. People give all sorts of advices, though I don't know. Like, I've done it before. It's not. What's your thoughts on American Krogan? I've never seen his shit. Oh man, I can't believe I'm still going. I don't know, my phone's gonna die here. Before I start crying, do I look like I'm gonna cry? It's just because it's like muggy in here and I'm like sweaty and shit. There's like sweat in my eyes. There's sweat in my eyes, guys. I'm not coping. I'm not coping. I have Hereditary downloaded, but I haven't watched it yet. Do you agree with me? USA is the best country on this side of heaven. I really like the United States and the way they have things set up. I think it's probably the best country in the world to live in. There are things I like about Canada, but I would move to the United States if I had a chance, yeah. Advice on getting a job online? Send out a lot of resumes, bud. Have you seen opening night or any Kiss of That? No, I haven't. Okay. Maybe one more question. I keep saying one more question, one more minute. You know, I love to do this. I love to fucking stream. I love to hear myself talk. What are the chances Reiketa stream is an ambush? 100%. What do you think of vegans? They're trash. Favorite beer? Budweiser. Just get the charger. Just get the charger. Oh fuck. Maybe later. You think it's a good stream? Do you? People think it's a good show? You don't want me to stop streaming? Oh. uh. Go to the charger, man. I've been here for 2 hours. How much more do you need? You need to watch me for 4, 5, 6 hours. Advice on improving speaking skills. You just got to speak a lot. That's the only way you're going to improve is you have to do it. My best advice for you is go get a sales job. Go get a job in a call center doing telemarketing. Go get a job at a used car lot. Go get a job knocking on doors. And you will get better. Or start a live stream and start doing it every night. You just have to get comfortable with people, and it's a numbers game, and the more you do it, the better you will get at it. You never might be as good as some guys who are naturally talented at it, but you can certainly get to a level of competence and proficiency. This is gonna die. All right, guys, the stream is lagging because my phone is gonna die. I'm gonna go there. But yeah, if you want to improve your speaking skills, I recommend you get a sales job, and then you'll have to learn. Okay? All right, see you guys.